Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Jimmy in Boston's absolute favorite program. Of course, you know our friend Jimmy in Boston is the president of the Intergalactic Marie Wilson fan club. He just loves her to death. And so today, an episode of My Friend Irma. This goes back to December 13th, 1948.
Lever Brothers Company presents the Pepsodent Show, My Friend Irma, created by Cy Howard and starring Marie Wilson as Irma with Joan Banks as Jane.
Friendship, friendship, just a perfect friendship. When other friendships have been forgot, theirs will still be hot. My friend Irma.
You know, today with living expenses so high, a girl has to be mighty careful how she invests her money. Me, Jane Stacy, I've always taken great pride in having a good sense of values. That is until I met my roommate, Irma Peterson. There I made my first economic blunder. How do I know? Well, one day I said, Irma, a penny for your thoughts. You know, I got gypped. Now, don't get me wrong, I love her. It's just that, well, for instance, the other day I was reading the newspaper and I said, Irma.
Yes, Jane?
Isn't this terrible? After all the work and expense, they find that 200-inch mirror on Mount Palomar isn't perfect. It has a small wave in it.
So what? All the mirrors at Coney Island have waves in them and they make money.
You, see what I mean? Well, perhaps some other time I'll try to straighten Irma out, but today I'm just too annoyed to even think straight.
Jane?
What is it, sweetie?
What's the matter with you?
No, I don't know. I'm just not myself today. I'm so nervous I could jump out of my skin.
Oh, not in this weather, Jane. You'll catch pneumonia.
I'm sorry I mentioned it.
Oh, no, Jane, I'm your friend and I want to help you. I wish you'd tell me what's making you so nervous.
All right, I'll tell you. It's my job, my boss, Mr. Thompson.
But I thought you said he was a nice man.
Well, he is, honey, but he's just too old to be in business. He's so absent-minded.
Oh, don't worry about it, Jane. My boss, Mr. Clyde's always saying my mind is absent, too.
Yes, I know, honey, but you don't understand. It's just that the job is so monotonous. I'm tired of this eternal struggle to make an honest living.
Well, Jane, there's only one way out. If you don't want to be honest, get married.
What?
Believe me, Jane, a girl has only two choices. Al explained it to me. Either a girl works and supports herself, or she gets married and supports her husband.
Irma, I'm not thinking along those lines. I was just thinking of quitting my job.
Why don't you?
It's not that easy, Irma. I couldn't afford to give up my job unless I had another one to go to.
Gee, I'll bet if you talked to Richard, he let you have your old job back.
Richard?
Yes, you used to say working for him was fun.
Oh, yes, it was. Oh, but I couldn't ask Richard. My pride would never allow me to.
Well, swallow your pride, Jane, and then if he turns you down, you won't go away with an empty stomach.
Irma, in case you've forgotten, Richard already has another secretary.
Oh, you mean that Carolyn Benson?
Yes, and for the life of me, I don't know what Richard sees in her.
Well, she's pretty and she has nice legs.
She's bow-legged.
Well, who'd know the difference when she's sitting on Richard's lap?
She wouldn't dare. Oh, or would she? You know, Richard tells me that she's rather slow. I wonder if he was talking about her work or... Oh, no. Come in.
It's only me, Professor Kropotkin.
Hello, Janie and Irma. My two little Christmas trees. One covered with tinsel, the other...
Please, Professor, I'm not in the mood for any of your jokes today.
It's all right with me, Janie. I didn't like it anyway. But, Janie, my darling, you seem in a mood. What's wrong?
She's disgusted with her job and wants to quit.
Listen, Janie, jobs don't grow on trees. Unless, of course, you're in the lumber business.
I know, Professor.
Now, take me. I'm not happy working in the gypsy tea room, but I have to make a living. You know, there's an old saying. Everything that goes up must come down.
What's that got to do with me?
Nothing. This is a saying for elevator operators.
Oh, Professor.
I was only trying to cheer you up, Janie. Seriously, if you don't like your job, why don't you talk to Richard? Maybe you can go back to work for him.
Oh, no, I just couldn't. Maybe it's my foolish pride.
Oh, I know what you mean, Janie. Pride can be a very bad thing for a person. You know, years ago in the old country, when I was young, I met a girl. Oh, she was beautiful, rich, talented, and I wanted to marry her. But I was poor, and my clothes were ragged. So I stopped calling on her.
Your pride?
No, her. She wouldn't be seen going out with me. Look, Jenny, Richard has always spoken very highly of you. Why do you think he wouldn't hire you back?
Well, for one thing, he already has a secretary. That, Carolyn Benson.
Well, maybe there's some way we can get rid of her.
Oh, I know how to do it.
You do?
Sure, Jane. Call her up and tell her that Richard murdered his last secretary and you wouldn't want her to suffer the way you did.
Irma.
Oh, Jane, I wish I could help you, but you still have a job, so take my advice. Don't ditch one job until you have another. And speaking of ditches, I think I'll go back to the one I live in.
Jane.
Yes, sweetie.
I know how you feel about your job, and if you're afraid you won't get another one, don't worry about it. I'll speak to my boss, Mr. Clyde.
You're sweet, honey, but I thought he had enough help.
Well, the other day he said he expected to have an opening for a new girl most any time.
He did?
Yes, it was right after I spilled the inkwell on his new suit.
Come in.
Hello, girls.
Oh, Mrs. O'Reilly.
Why, what's the matter, Janie? You look so depressed.
Oh, it's nothing. I was just thinking of quitting my present job. It gets me down.
Oh, I know how you feel, honey. Making a living can be very trying at times. You think I like being a landlady and taking the abuse I do from the professor? Just listen to this note he left on my door this morning. If I was a knight in shining armor, you would be mine even though it took force.
Why, that's lovely.
That's what I thought, but listen to the rest. Because what good is a knight in shining armor without a big, strong horse?
Oh, he's only kidding you, Mrs. O'Reilly. I'm sure he likes you.
Well, he has a funny way of showing it. Last night we were sitting in the parlor, and he turned off all the lights.
Oh, I see. He wanted to get romantic?
No, he wanted to get out. When I turned on the lights, he was gone.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get a man someday. You know what they say, the first 100 years are the hardest. After that, they can't run so fast.
Irma.
Oh, it's all right, Janie. I know that Irma doesn't mean anything by that. Oh, but I'll have to run along now. I'm taking a singing lesson.
Oh, yes, I heard you practicing this morning.
I wasn't singing. I was running the vacuum cleaner. It needs oiling. Goodbye, girls.
Hello. Oh, yes, Mr. Thompson. What? Why did I get 2 reservations on the Santa Fe? Well, I thought you wanted to take your wife. What do you mean I'm stupid? What? Having seen your wife, I should know you wouldn't take her anyplace? Mr. Thompson, I'm not stupid. No, and I'm not inefficient. And you can't talk to me that way. I've had enough abuse. You can keep your job. I quit.
Oh, Jane, you quit?
Yes. I couldn't take any more. Well, Irma, your little roommate is now unemployed.
Oh, don't worry about it. If Al can make a success of it, so can you.
Thank you. Come in.
Hello, Jane. Hi, Chicken.
Hello, Al, honey.
Hey, what's the matter with you two? You look like a couple of pickpockets who just found out they've been on television.
Oh, it's worse than that, Al. Somebody has just quit her job.
Chicken, what about all my plans?
Oh, it wasn't me. It's Jane.
Jane? Oh, well, congratulations.
Thanks.
You got nothing to worry about, Jane. We'll have all the money we can ever use when my latest deal goes through.
Oh, another deal? What is it this time? Dipping buttons in tar and selling them for cough drops?
Couldn't get it past the Pure Foods Act. No, this one is a natural. It's a special type roulette wheel for gambling resorts. In case of a raid, the operator presses a button, 16 horses pop out, and the guy asks the cops, what's wrong about running a merry-go-round? You go for it, Jane?
I'd rather go for a walk. Goodbye.
Curt character. What's eating the dame?
Oh, Al, can't you understand? Jane has quit her job and she's terribly upset.
Chicken, do not like the idea of Jane being out of work. She must find something. These are prosperous times and jobs is plentiful.
Then why don't you get one?
If I did, they wouldn't be so plentiful. Gotta protect the little man. But forget me, Chicken. Have been thinking about Jane. Think I have evolved a plan whereby she can get back the job she just quit.
What are you doing, Al?
I'm dialing Mr. Thompson, her boss. Now, you get on the phone.
Gee, what'll I say, Al?
Yeah, we gotta make it sound real sympathetic. Just say, Mr. Thompson, you must take Jane back because the rent is due and she's used to carrying half of the load, which is all you can afford. Hello? Mr. Thompson? Just a second. Take it, Chicken. Make it real sad.
Hello, Mr. Thompson. The rent is due and you'll have to carry Jane on your back because she's half loaded and you can afford it.
Hold it, Chicken.
Oh, Al, he hung up. I wonder why.
Well, guess her job with Thompson is really washed up now. Chicken, we got to get her another job.
Well, if it wasn't for that Carolyn Benson, she could go back to work for Richard.
Like your suggestion, Chicken. Our next move is to get rid of that Benson date, which calls for desperate measures. And between us, we can put it over. Are you with me?
Oh, yes, Al, but do you think we're doing the right thing?
Positive. After we finish, Jane will be only too glad to call us her friends.
I hope so. I never liked the other name she calls us.
December 13th, 1948, My Friend Irma on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
And here's the Cinnamon Bear.
The oldest known children's Christmas serial in radio history, The Cinnamon Bear, featuring some of the most popular actors in radio history, including Elliot Lewis, Joseph Kearns, Verna Felton, Lou Merrill, Frank Nelson, Howard McNear, and child actress Barbara Jean Wong. 85 years later, this series of Judy and Jimmy traveling to Maybeland to recover their silver stars still fascinates youngsters of all ages. Now we're offering the entire 26-episode series of The Cinnamon Bear via download for a Buy Me a Coffee donation of $10 or more at classicradio.stream. Support Classic Radio Theater and have The Cinnamon Bear for your family to enjoy for years to come. Go to classicradio.stream and donate $10 or more, and I'll send you a link for immediate download. classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Okay, Jimmy should be back up and stable now because he knows we had our commercial break. So now it's back to Marie Wilson and My Friend Irma, December 13th, 1948.
Jane Stacy has really fixed things up for herself. With Christmas just around the corner, I had to go and quit my job. Right now, I'm walking along Fifth Avenue trying to reach a decision. Shall I go back and talk to Mr. Thompson? Or shall I see if Richard is interested in letting me have my old job back? What to do, what to do. Let's see. If I go back to Mr. Thompson, I could walk into his office and say, Look, I'm sorry I walked out on you. Will you give me another chance?
Well, I'd like to, lady, but I'm supposed to meet my wife here in 10 minutes.
Oh, excuse me. So, in utter confusion, I tried to lose myself in the nearest telephone booth. But just as I reached for the door, it opened. And who was in the booth but Richard?
Why, Jane, what a pleasant surprise. I just tried to reach you on the phone. I've been thinking of you all day.
Oh, well, that's funny. I've been thinking about you, too, Richard.
You have?
Uh-huh. Were you really thinking about me?
Yes, dear.
Hey! Hey, would you two mind getting out of that telephone booth?
Oh, we're sorry. You see...
Look, lady, I don't care what you say. I know the housing shortage can't be that bad.
All right, we're going. Come on, Jane. How about having lunch with me?
Oh, I'd be glad to.
Tell me, Jane, how do you like your present job?
My job? It is positively wonderful.
Well, how come you have this morning off?
Well, Mr. Thompson likes my work so much, he didn't want me to wear myself out, so he told me to relax today. Why do you ask?
Well, it doesn't matter now. It's just that Miss Benson, the girl who took your place, is proving to be inefficient in her work.
Why, Richard, I understood you to say she was doing quite well.
Well, she is a capable girl, but she's rather slow. And you know how it is in the brokerage business, Jane. When the market quotations start hopping all over the board, I need a secretary who can work fast. I guess it's just my hard luck that you're not available.
But I am available. I mean, I could be.
But you said your boss liked your work so much he gives you time off to relax.
Well, that's just the trouble. I'm relaxing so much, I'm afraid I'll put on weight.
In that case, then come to work for me. How much notice would your boss need?
Oh, he's had enough. I mean, Richard, I'll take care of everything.
Good. Tomorrow you start at your old job.
Jane? Oh, she's not here, Al.
Poor dame is moping so about losing her job with Thompson, she's probably out casing some bridges to jump off.
Oh, Al, we've just got to get her old job back with Richard.
I'm working on that, chicken. Got to find a way to eliminate that Benson dame.
But how, Al?
Yeah, well, there is various ways of getting rid of undesirable people. History is full of various methods. For instance, do you know why a guest always stays 20 minutes after having dinner?
Yes, it shows good manners.
No, chicken. Has a historical origin. Used to be a dame by the name of Lucretia Borgia, who got rid of her undesirable lovers by slipping a little strychnine in their artichokes. And within 15 minutes, they croaked. So to this very day, when guests stay 20 minutes after dinner, it ain't to be polite. It's just to make sure they don't drop dead.
Oh, Al, your head is just a fortress of knowledge. A real rock of Gibraltar.
Thanks. Now, in considering how we can get this Miss Benson out of the picture, there is only one course to take. We will, as they say, louse her up.
But, Al, she might be a nice girl. She might be somebody's daughter.
Chicken, this is a world of cold reality, where everything has to be hard and tough.
Oh, that reminds me, Al. Would you like a piece of this cake I just made?
No, chicken. Got to stick with this Benson problem. Want to break the good news to Jane that we got her job back when she gets here. When we can't think of something alone, why should we both sit here and moan? There's only one man to phone.
Who, Al?
Who else but... Hello, Joe? Al, got a problem. Huh? You can't talk long? You're in a hurry? Oh, what's the rush, Joe? Oh, you're going over to the lot to pick up a new car for Christmas, huh? Oh, what kind are you getting, Joe? Any one that still has the key left in it. We'll only take a minute of your time, Joe. Want to know how to get rid of a dame who is working for a Wall Street broker. What's my move? Uh-huh. 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 Mm-hmm. Not bad, Joe. Thanks a lot, and goodbye, noble friend. Chicken, Joe has give me a natural. We'll have that Benson dame out of there faster than a second-story man who has just found out the house he's robbing belongs to the district attorney.
How are you you going to do it, Al?
Well, first we look in the paper and find the most worthless stock on the market. Then I call her up, pretend I am one of Richard's new clients, authorize her to buy 10,000 shares. Naturally, when Richard finds out what she has done, this Carolyn Benson is a dead pigeon. You like it, chicken?
Well, it sounds all right to me, Al, but suppose she recognizes your voice.
Uh-huh. Already thought about that, chicken. We'll place a handkerchief over the mouthpiece.
Oh, that's clever, Al. That way she won't be able to see you.
Right, chicken. Now, to avoid interruptions, we had best make this call from a public phone. So let's go, huh?
All right, Al. Here's a kiss for good luck.
Chicken, why do you always hold onto the radiator when you kiss me?
Well, it's a shame to waste all this heat.
I'm sitting on top of the world, just rolling a... Irma! She's not here. Oh, gee, I feel wonderful. Tomorrow I'll be back on the job with the man I love. Hello. Oh, it's you, Richard. My, you sound excited. What? You made a killing on the market? Why, that's wonderful.
No, it's not. December 13th, 1948, Marie Wilson and my friend Irma. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for tuning in to Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station. My friend Irma, December 13th, 1948. Richards made a killing in the stock market. That's good news, isn't it?
Oh, it is and it isn't? What do you mean? Carolyn Benson bought 10,000 shares of a stock that you thought was worthless and it went up? Oh, yes, I understand, Richard. No, of course I wouldn't expect you to let her go now. Congratulations. Bye, Richard.
Oh, Jane, why are you crying?
Dry all your tears, Jane. Have a feeling it won't be long before you will have your old job back with Richard.
Yes, Jane, your worries are over.
That's what you think. Richard just called me. He said that somebody gave that Miss Benson a tip to buy 10,000 shares of stock, and Richard cleaned up. Just when I was all set to go back to work for Richard. Oh, if I could only find out who ruined my Wait a minute. Why are you two staring at each other? Al? Irma?
No special reason.
Then why are your teeth chattering?
I'm on a liquid diet and I'm chewing my food.
Irma, your teeth are chattering too.
I know, we both go to the same dentist.
Don't try fooling me, I understand. Now, what are you trying to hide?
Chicken, we're trapped. We might as well confess. Go ahead. Tell Jane what you did.
Well, you didn't have a job, Jane, so I told Al. Now, Al, tell her what you did.
Chicken!
No, don't tell me. I can guess. You're the ones that called up and gave Miss Benson the tip.
Well, we only did it to help you, Jane.
Help? When you two scatterbrains start butting into my affairs, the only help I need is a long rest in the sanitarium.
I'm sorry, Jane.
Sorry? You're always sorry. You were sorry the time you cut holes in my best shoes because I said I felt like stepping out. You were sorry the time my aunt came to visit and you put whiskey in her tea because she said her spirits were low. You're always sorry.
Well, girl, sorry to leave you at this time, but just remembered an appointment I have at 8 o'clock down the corner.
Oh, but Al, it's only 6 o'clock now.
It is? This corner is over in New Jersey.
Al, don't you dare move. I'll get it. Hello? Oh, hello, Richard. What? You want me to start working for you tomorrow morning? But what about Miss Benson? This transaction has given you a terrific reputation, And you're getting so much more business, you'll need extra help. Oh, that's wonderful. Yes, Richard, yes, I'll be there. Goodbye.
Oh, Jane, you got your job back.
Yes, honey, and I don't know how I'll ever thank you and Al.
Ah, Jane, do not want your thanks. All we want from you is a little more respect for me and Irma. I admit that the general opinion is that Irma's a nitwit, and that I'm a bum. But you got to remember, none of them polls is accurate.
Yes, Al is right, Jane.
All right, honey, I grant that. And from now on, I'll have a different opinion of you.
Well, that's swell, Jane, because I want you to have more confidence in me. Now, yesterday you lost your wristwatch, but you wouldn't ask me to help you find it.
Well, if I didn't know where it was, how could you know?
Jane, that's wrong thinking. You must trust me more.
Why?
Because I know where it is. I dropped it down the garbage disposal.
Oh, Mother. Of the wristwatch, I'm back working for Richard Rhinelander, and all is quite well with the world. In fact, I feel so elated, I think I'll take Irma to a movie tonight. Irma, would you like to see a new moving picture tonight?
Well, what's playing?
Well, we can see The Accused or The Return of October.
I saw The Accused, so let's see The Return of October. That month seemed to fly so fast, I didn't get a chance to see what happened.
And you know, time may fly, but if there's anything that stands still, it's the mind of my friend Irma.
My Friend Irma is produced and directed by Cy Howard and stars Marie Wilson as Irma with Joan Banks as Jane. Park Levy writes the script with Stanley Adams and Roland McLean, and it's brought to you by Pepsodent Toothpaste with Irium, another fine product of Lever Brothers Company. The part of Al was played by John Brown. Hans Conried is Professor Kropotkin, Gloria Gordon was heard as Mrs. O'Reilly, and Donald Woods as Richard. Music was under the direction of Lud Gluskin. Our American economic system has brought greater material means for happiness to more people than any other nation. In view of the propaganda attacks from within and without, we should now learn the basic facts about our economic system, which gives us more jobs, shorter working hours, more vacations, higher incomes, more and better houses, schools, and food than any other country in the world. Let's keep it that way. This is Wendell Niles speaking.
December 13th, 1948, My Friend Irma on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, let's check out what's going on with the Cinnamon Bear. This episode originally broadcast December 13th, 1937.
When we left Judy and Jimmy and the Cinnamon Bear last time, they were in high spirits, and for a very good reason, too. You'll remember that after the Crazy Quilt Dragon sat on the Silver Star and broke it into a dozen pieces, they decided to visit Melissa, the beautiful queen of Babyland, to see if she could help them. And sure enough, after the Grand Wunky presented them to Queen Melissa, she told them the Silver Star could be restored to one piece if they'd listen carefully to everything she said. And I, for one, am going to listen very carefully because this is most interesting.
You mean you can fix it so our Silver Star will be all together again and won't be broken like it is now?
That's exactly what I mean, Judy.
Jiminy crickets. And will we be able to put it on our Christmas tree just like we used to?
On the very tip-top, Jimmy, and no one will ever know it was the very least bit broken.
Oh, that'll be wonderful.
Now, I will have to write a few simple instructions for you to follow. Grand Wunky, will you please get me my magic ink?
Yes, Your Majesty.
We're awfully grateful, Melissa. We were just about to give up and go home.
You bet. And after all the things we did to get the star, too.
Here's the magic ink, Your Majesty.
Thank you, Grand Wunky. And now I will write down the instructions for you to follow. There. Now, I've put the instructions inside this envelope, Jimmy, and you must follow them exactly.
Oh, goody. Let's see what we have to do.
Oh, I'm sorry, Judy, but you mustn't open it here.
Oh, why?
Because that would keep the magic from working. You see, restoring the Silver Star is going to take a special kind of magic. If it had been made in Mabyland, it would be simple, but unfortunately it was made in the world. And that's another matter. It will need quite a little extra work.
Will it be hard to do?
No, not hard. But you must do exactly as they say. And unfortunately, you can only read these instructions in total darkness.
But, Your Majesty, where can we find this absolute darkness?
Ah, that is a part of the magic that you must do for yourselves. But don't worry, friends. I know it will work out all right.
Gee, Melissa, I don't know how we'll ever be able to thank you.
It'll just make Christmas perfect, Melissa.
Allow me to express my deepest thanks, Melissa, for past favors and present courtesy. I bow.
I'm not fancy, Melissa, but I'm much obliged to you.
And you are all quite welcome, dear friends. I hope you will visit me again after the Silver Star has been restored to its original beauty.
We'd sure like to, all right, Melissa.
Then do so. And now, Grand Wunky, would you please set our friends on their way? I would be happy to entertain you in my palace for a while, but I know you're anxious to see your star mended and safe.
Yes, ma'am. Thanks so much, but we do have to hurry, kinda.
Yes, we've got to get it back before Christmas.
Well, goodbye then, and good luck.
Goodbye, Your Majesty.
Will you please follow me, single file, if you please, in the order in which you came in?
By the way, Wunky old thing, could you drop us some slight hint as to where we might find this absolute darkness of which Melissa spoke?
I couldn't hint. It's ever so rude, but my duties as Grand Wunky to Melissa's court keep me quite confined. I don't know a great deal about the country of Mabyland at all, I'm sorry to say.
Oh, dear.
But I have heard. Now, mark you, this is only a rumor. I cannot verify it in any way. I have heard that the Wishing Woods are very dark. Extremely dark, in fact.
Do you happen to know the way to the Wishing Woods?
Oh, yes, I do. I'm happy to say. I got a good many travel folders on it before I went on my vacation. But Mrs. Wunky decided she'd rather go to the root beer seashore. And such a lovely time we had, too. Took a small cottage.
Yes.
Dear, now, where was I?
You were going to tell us how to get to the Wishing Woods.
Oh, yeah, so I was. Well, it won't take you very long, not at all. They're directly north of the Marshmallow Meadows as the crow doesn't fly.
Thanks, Wunky. Much obliged for the assistance.
No, don't ever mention it. Just pop along down the marble staircase and straight ahead and... Dear. Almost forgot something. Here, this box is for you to take along with you.
What's in it, Wunky? Some more magic?
Oh, you'll find out when the time comes. And, here's the door. My, I must see about oiling those hinges, mustn't I? Such a racket they make. Well, I've got to be zipping now. Charming of you to drop in. Dudley, fetch the oil can.
What a character. What a character. You'd never know he was around.
I thought he was sort of sweet, Crazy Quilt.
Just a windbag, that's all. Well, we better get started, hadn't we?
You bet. The sooner we get where we can read those magical instructions, the better I'll like it. Come on, everybody. Let's find the Wishing Woods. I wonder if this is the Wishing Woods.
Oh, I'm sure it is. There's a sign over there that says Wishing Wood.
Oh, I'm so glad. Look, there's another sign. What does it say?
Wait a minute. It's printed a bit smaller. Oh, S.S. Crocodile-esque.
What does that esque mean?
I expect it means to esque, S.S. Crocodile.
Oh, I guess he spells like me.
Have you still got the broken pieces of the Silver Star in your hanky, Jimmy?
Yep, safe and sound.
Well, you have Melissa's instructions, too, so I think I better carry your hanky for you.
All right. Here it is.
And now, shall we follow this little path? Seems to be as good as any. Maybe this crocodile person can give us some idea as to where it is totally dark in the Wishing Woods.
He might at that.
Cinnamon Bear, did you look in that box that the Grand Wunky gave you when we left the palace?
No, why?
I was just awful curious, that's all.
Well, there's no special orders about opening this, so here goes.
Oh.
But bless my stuffing cinnamon buns.
Let me see. Oh, Jimmy, peanut butter sandwiches and apple pie?
And lollipops, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, boy. This is swell.
Oh, here's a note. My dear friends, I hope you will enjoy your picnic lunch in the Wishing Woods. When you have finished, tie up the box again, and the next time you are hungry, open it, and you will find another lunch. Love, Melissa.
Gee, Melissa sure's a peach, all right.
Well, far be it from me to call our gracious ruler by such a name, but she surely is kind and thoughtful.
Yummy. Such cinnamon buns. Chock full of currants, too.
My, I didn't know I was hungry, but I certainly was.
Delicious. I'll tie up the box just like she said.
Well, shall we be moving? Oh, I say, look ahead, down the path a bit.
My goodness, it's a bathtub.
Yeah, and it's a big white one just like we have at home.
What a strange place for a bathtub.
What's that funny noise?
It's coming from the bathtub.
Why, so it is. There must be something in it.
Hello! Bless my stuffing, it's a crocodile.
It must be the one on the sign. SS Crocodile-esque.
Welcome to the Wishing Woods. Who am I? I can see it by the look in your eye. Why, I'm Snappersnick. Of course, and very pleased to meet you. By the way, who are you?
I'm Judy, Mr. What did you say your name was?
Snappersnick, little girl. And who are the rest of you?
I'm Jimmy.
Patio Cinnamon, the Cinnamon Bear.
I'm the Crazy Quilt Dragon.
Well. So kind of you to come all this way to see me.
But
I'm very glad you came today. There hasn't been a single person, and I was beginning to feel quite lonesome.
Well, you see...
Of course, I'm very comfortable with my bath, like my tub. Quite an acquisition it was, very. I got it when they redecorated the royal bath last spring. Genuine porcelain with chromium taps.
It's very nice, but
you say one can't spend all one's time in the bath. Ha-ha! That's because you've never thought of the bath in all its possibilities.
You are quite right,
Have you ever noticed the wonderful acoustics in a bathtub? Of course you haven't. Have you ever thought of a bathtub singing as a fine art? Again, you have not. But Snappersnick has. Oh, yes, indeed. That is why I've remained a hermit, as it were, in the midst of the Wishing Woods, perfecting my art until it can be heard in all its glory by the listening world. The first bathtub singer to be heard on the air. What a sensation! The bathtub baritone. Snappersnick, the crooning crocodile.
But we didn't...
But you didn't come to talk. You came to hear me sing, isn't that right? Well, your wish is granted. I'll sing without delay.
Hey, I didn't come to see you.
Oh, you didn't? Why didn't you say so?
Sure, and you didn't give us a chance.
These young people are on a very important mission.
Oh, indeed. And where did you come from?
Just now we came from the Queen of Maybeland.
Oh, dear Melissa. And how is she? Always so kind to me, Melissa is so kind. Lovely girl, don't you think?
She's awful nice, all right. She's going to help us fix our silver star.
What silver star?
Ours. It belongs on top of our Christmas tree. First it got lost.
Lost? Oh, and don't I know how you must feel. Don't I, though? Last spring, I lost my voice.
Congratulations.
What do you mean, congratulations? For days, I was petrified. And then my beautiful voice came back, twice as lovely as ever before. However, it's too bad you weren't here to notice the improvement. I'll demonstrate by singing my favorite number. That's why crocodiles were born, in the key of Q.
But we haven't time to listen. Besides, the star isn't lost anymore. We found it, and it got broken into a dozen pieces.
And Melissa gave us some wonderful instructions so we can get it all back together again.
But they aren't to be read except in total darkness.
Oh, most intriguing. May I take a squint?
Of course. They're right here in this envelope.
My, would you mind holding it a little closer? Broke my bifocals last week. Can't see worth anything.
There. You sure ought to be able to see now, Mr. Crocodile.
Ah, much better. Much better.
Hey, don't do that.
Well, I never.
Our magic instructions. He swallowed them.
Well, there seems to be a regular epidemic of swallowing things, doesn't there? First, the wailing whale swallowed the silver star, then Crazy Quilt swallowed the whistle which Fifo the giant gave to Jimmy, and now Snappersnick, the crooning crocodile, has upped and swallowed Melissa's most valuable instructions. Looks mighty bad, all right, but let's be on hand next time and see what happens.
from December 13th, 1937, The Cinnamon Bear, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Remember that my friend Ted at RadioMemories.com has the entire collection of Cinnamon Bear on cassette, CD, or on flash drive for your computer. Visit Ted at RadioMemories.com. That's RadioMemories.com. He's also just restored a whole bunch of Lum and Abner's and a whole bunch of other shows. So check him out, RadioMemories.com. A reminder to visit my webpage while you're out and about, ClassicRadio.stream. That is ClassicRadio.stream. There you can stream our shows on demand. You can learn about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can find our social media links. You can also find, like I said, all of our shows on demand, or find places where you can download them through the page. And you can also buy me a coffee. Now, that buy me a coffee money does not buy me coffee. It does not. But what it does is helps us acquire additional classic radio collections to bring you here from collectors, and it also helps us in another important way, keeping our distribution channels up and running. That webpage again is classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Thank this station, support their advertisers, and as always, tell your friends great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox here on your favorite radio station.